That shirt so needs an iron. Sorry, I'm distracted. Welcome, fellow simmers, gamers, and curious onlookers. Christmas is nearly upon us. It may well be with you by the time you're watching this video. And so is the question. Should you invest your hard-earned cash in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, either for yourself or a geeky teenager that needs distracting? Well, we're going to taxi down the runway of truth. And to be fair, there haven't been any potholes that we needed to worry about. The runways were okay, but we did have a few aircraft with their front ends in buildings, and there was some dodgy nuclear winter scenery out there in the early phases of the sim. But I digress. Is this worth your money? Welcome to the Flying Doctor channel. Let's geek into it. Everybody loves a straight answer to a straight question. So should you buy Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 when elements of the sim are, as you can see here, coming soon? Well, the answer is no. Well, but yes. But no, but yes. Don't buy the game outright. That's my recommendation. And I say that as a simmer who's got a little bit more experience than I did 3 or 4 years ago. Don't buy the game outright. Get Game Pass instead. Allow me to outline why. The standard edition for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 from the store is $69.99. But if you have a Game Pass account, it's already included. Now, a Game Pass account is £9.99 for PC or £14.99 for Ultimate. What's the difference? The Game Pass Ultimate allows you to play on PC, yes, but also with cloud gaming and with console. So suffice to say, whether you pay the $9.99 or the $14.99, you've got an opportunity to see if you settle with Microsoft Flight Simulator, particularly if you are new to simming. As I see it, you get 6 months to enjoy the game and other titles before reaching the cost of an outright purchase of the standard edition. Now, I offer this advice with a caveat because they can remove it from the library. They tend to give about 2 weeks notice if they do that, but even if you've got a Game Pass membership, you get a reduction with Game Pass if they take it out of the library. Beyond that, things are a bit more expensive. Yes, you're looking at 90 quid with Game Pass, £100 without for the deluxe edition. For the premium deluxe, 130 quid plus £117. Sorry, I'm just aware that being Brit, I'm using the word quid. And then there's the Aviators edition, which is much higher, £200 and £180, and they give you extra aircraft. But my advice is there's such a good number of aircraft with the base simulator at the moment, and things are not quite on track but are improving quickly, that actually you'd be better off buying Game Pass, having access to other games, and taking that risk as to whether they remove Flight Simulator 2024 from the library shelf, at which point, yeah, you might have to make a kind of further purchase. But that's my view at the moment. No, don't buy the game outright at the moment. See how you settle with it, particularly if you're new to simming, and get Game Pass instead. And so why the hesitancy, you may ask? And welcome if you are new. Well, firstly, we need to be honest about the state of the sim. It was not the smoothest launch ever. It had more holes than a piece of Swiss cheese, to say the least. But, and this is a big but, the response I think from Asobo has been very apologetic, very open and honest and transparent, which will go down well with the flight simming community. There is a clear bug fix path with regular patches. We're now on to patch 3, and there is a long-term development roadmap. So in other words, I don't think that this is a sim that's going to fly backwards into irrelevance. Improvements are rolling out monthly, and patch 3 has already made a big difference. One of the things that I think is encouraged me about Flight Simulator 2024 is the quality of some of the aircraft that are beginning to emerge. Not all, but they are beginning, I think, to rival some what we might call study level planes in other sims, or study level add-ons for Flight Simulator. It is always a curious phrase to use, study level. You might say high fidelity, but planes that are designed with significant detail, not just in the texturing here, which is really good, but also in the working of the systems. We're beginning to see this here. This is the A310 by Inibuilds. It's included in the base sim, and I think it delivers a great experience. Another aircraft that I've really enjoyed as I have jumped in and out of cockpits throughout the sim has been the Cessna 208B Grand Caravan EX, and this has gained positive feedback within the community for its detailed modelling and flight dynamics. It's versatile, it's really immersive. There were some issues earlier on with the autopilot and the plane's ability to maintain a steady course, leading to oscillations when things were calm, but things seem to be improving as well. There's also a steam gauge overhaul for the Caravan that's available from Black Square. It replaces the glass cockpit that you can see here with analogue instrumentation, and that enhances the realism even more, pushing us towards a study level simulation. Overall, it was a really solid performer for me, and I've enjoyed this. Another excellent aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, significantly upgraded, is the Cessna Citation Longitude. It's not as complex as some of the other third-party study level add-ons that you could get for Flight Simulator 2020, but yes, this is a significant upgrade. The thing I like about it is the detailed systems, including a comprehensive G5000 system. It's got some in-depth features such as VNAV and LNAV, which are really well incorporated. Fuel management electrical systems are modelled with a significant depth for just a included aircraft, and the feedback on the forums has been really good for the realistic handling that we're seeing with this aircraft, particularly during takeoff and landing. And it's great for longer flights as well. It's got a range of 3,500 nautical miles, so you can go across continents. For comparison, let's talk prices. A single study level aircraft for Flight Simulator 2020, like the Phoenix A320 here, which I really enjoyed, that costs around, well, it's cost £50 at the moment. Meanwhile, HPG's helicopter, the 160, was at $50 and is now $40. I think that's a really good price, but it's still significant. That's about £30. But yes, you compare that with the cost of the overall sim, you know, and things begin to look really competitive. Even though the sim might contain some aircraft that feel a bit arcade-like, some like the Kodiak, for example, are absolute gems. Really surprised and encouraged by that. And the default offerings are improving so much that third-party developers will really need to step up their game. I'm seeing smoother frame rates, higher frame rates, better scenery in key areas, and vastly improved flora rendering. Take, for example, the cliffs and shoreline of England's south coast. They've gone from, well, appalling, almost looking like there's been some kind of nuclear accident, to something you'd actually want to visit. And while some buildings still look like they've been through a disaster, the overall quality, well, that's improving steadily. Look at these water effects. The question, though, is not whether Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 will mature, it's whether you're patient enough to enjoy the ride. I think it's important to acknowledge the great gamer and simmer divide. Perhaps it's not as broad as we thought it once was. At risk of generalising from the particular, gamers might want thrills. They'll think nothing of barrel rolling a 747 into a volcano because it's hilarious and you can do it. Simmers, on the other hand, tend to be a bit more detail obsessed. They'll spend hours tweaking flight management control systems, studying wind charts and making sure that their altimeter settings are perfect. But here's the thing. Simming has always been about improvement. Simming has always had a community mentality. And implicit to this and pressing the sim forward in a healthy competitive environment are developers, paid or otherwise, who tweak and enhance the experience we have, whether it's new liveries, airport upgrades or weather apps. This sim will evolve continually. One of my favourite sites is flightsim.to, and you can see a leading page here of the apps that are already available for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I'm not quite sure whether all of these are operational at the moment given the recent patch updates, but I'm sure we will get there in the end. One of the things that the sim has struggled with so far is incorporating third-party content, but the sim cannot really exist without it. Gamers and simmers may well have different mindsets, but we need each other to make this niche community thrive. So yes, the initial launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 was rough, but now, well, the holes are getting filled and what's emerging is going to be worth the investment. And so there you have it, folks. Back to the guy with the creased t-shirt. Microsoft Flight Simulator will be ironing out a fair few more creases, I'm sure, in the future. It's part of what they are. Getting Microsoft Flight Simulator through Game Pass, especially if you have Game Pass already, is in my view a no-brainer. It's a personal opinion. What do you think? It's got improving features, impressive aircraft are emerging, and the sim seems to be maturing really well. What do you think? Are you Team Simmer, Team Gamer? I don't want to split people up. We actually need each other. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because honestly, that's what makes our community thrive. Whether Christmas is approaching or already here, I want to wish you a very happy holiday season. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Take care. God bless.